The reason you're addicted is because you want to be addicted. You want to be, or I personally, speaking for myself, and I'm sure a lot of humans are similar, so I'm sure, not trying to call you out, but I'm sure most people who are addicted, and if you aren't addicted, you are addicted to something. Look, I've been addicted to very hardcore drugs. I've been addicted to simple things that you might call simple, as you can go to the gas station and get alcohol. You can get tobacco. I never really liked cigarettes, but I smoked them when I was a kid to look cool, to fit in. A lot of the reasons why we are addicted, why we do certain things, what habits we have, has to do with the society you live in, who you're around, not just who you're around. You can be in a great family, but just the fact that you go to school and you have to fit in with certain people, and this is common sense, obviously, but sometimes common sense, you don't realize the grand meta picture of common sense until you get older. And not to say that being older means you're better than anyone. You can be young and experience a lot of shit and learn from that experience. But usually, experience and shit happening in your life comes from years. Unless you sit in a room and don't experience anything, which could be one way of living. But I think you should experience life, because I think every single human is a vessel that God experiences a perspective through, whether it's a fly, whether it's a fucking plant face, or a dying sunflower that's sitting in your girlfriend's vase that you need to switch the water out and feed it. It's just a perspective that this omnipresence God is experiencing life, and maybe one of those perspective is through a homeless drug addict's body. And someone doesn't have to be homeless to be addicted to something. You might see a lot of people who are homeless, it's mental health issues, okay? And addiction, that's obvious. You realize if you've been addicted to something, what you would do or what you can live without, as long as you get that one thing. What food, like if you're addicted to something, you will not, if it's your money, and like you're making a certain amount of income, or if you're not making any income, any money that you don't think about food, you don't think about this car payment, this and that. It's going to making sure that pain that you've caused, self-caused pain, you have a remedy for that. It's just like this constant cycle that of pain that you created to fit in. And it's like, I want to create this addiction in me because everyone else, and this is a lot of people might not agree or even think this is how it is, but I really do believe that a lot of the addictions that you might have, I've had, is because of wanting to fit in, because you see actors and celebrities, singers dying at a certain age and this and that, and going through, my growing up, my role model, podcast listening, Joey Diaz, these comedians. And when you look up, and not I've learned a lot, but I don't think I was mature enough, but maybe I was. Maybe I needed to experience what heavy drug addiction felt like to appreciate life. Maybe I needed to, and I know everything that's happened in my life happened for a reason, and with you happens for a reason. You might not know or understand the reason right now, but you will come to a conclusion if you put enough time and understanding behind it and not having this bias. A lot of these addictions that we have, whether it's to drugs, whether it's to getting attention from people, has to do with wanting to fit in. And this was a realization that I had. A lot of the addiction that we have is because we want to fit in. I want to smoke nicotine because okay, why is this? I see these memes of people fiending for nicotine and they go hit the pen. I remember, even now, I'll see a YouTube or like a Instagram reel about a meme about hitting the pen, a Zen pouch meme. Oh, you got to have your Zen pouch, this and that. And then for some reason, I want to go reach for it. I want to go hit the pen. I want to go put a Zen in my lip. Even though, I try to use things in a responsible way. I'm sober now. But, using nicotine, coffee, things that, even that, and saying someone is sober, okay, if you still smoke cigarettes, what does it mean to be sober? As long as you're not doing the drug that was destroying your life or the multiple drugs that were destroying your life, does that mean you're sober? Does that mean, okay, you were only drinking alcohol and destroying your life, but, you know, you're prescribed Adderall and you live in, is that sober? I don't know. What if like you were highly addicted to opiates and you were doing fentanyl every day and this and that, and you smoke weed but you don't drink? Does that mean you're sober? What if you are, you know, you're addicted to Xanax? You've been highly addicted to Xanax, but now you just do opioids. Does that mean you're sober? From Xanax? What does it mean? We will rationalize whatever we want to rationalize. And I think we are rationalizing, and I have rationalized every single simple addictions, drinking coffee in the morning to fit in, because I see people drinking coffee in the morning, being productive. Okay, I'll be productive if I drink coffee and I have a certain routine. And you know, there's a good and bad to it. You know, people relax. You see people relaxing, the mental state of relaxing by, you know, going out, drinking, smoking weed, you know, this and that, hanging out with the loved one. There's healthy ways of doing it and there's unhealthy ways. There's extremes on both ends. So sometimes the method of it reaching the state of mind you want to reach can be unhealthy, or it can be healthy. And figuring that out is, I guess, growing up and figuring out what actually matters to you and what you should do. I have a email list where I talk about stuff that isn't really, I wouldn't think it's allowed on YouTube. I don't even bother discussing it on YouTube because even the stuff I discuss here, and the channel is still small, growing, I feel free enough to say whatever I feel. If I had, you know, once I have a bigger following, or when people have a bigger following, you have to censor yourself. I'm not censoring myself, and I don't plan to, and I want to build up that habit now. I love you guys. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you found interesting, what you didn't find interesting, any hate comments, whatever it is. And if you want, you know, you're suffering through some stuff, you relate to some of this stuff that I'm talking about, if you scroll down my channel, I have, you know, random videos on. The one that kind of had a good amount of views was this Akash Singh video. And I'm going to make more video talking about psychology of, you know, getting manipulated and how not to get manipulated. And that is a, you know, there's pros and cons to that because, you know, you want to live a moral life. I don't like manipulating people. I don't go live my day-to-day thinking how to manipulate people, but I see people trying to manipulate others and myself at certain points in my life. And seeing that afterwards, okay, like thinking back, oh, remember that relationship I had? She was gaslighting me. Now realizing that. And having these realizations so you don't, thankfully I'm in a very healthy relationship. I'm grateful for that every single day. And, you know, you can be, there's things you realize over the long term. And this is one of the other things I realize of how these addictions that I think we all have come from wanting to fit in. And if you are suffering with this or want any more in-depth insight, let me know in the comments below. I have an email list. Join it. If you don't want to, don't. I love you either way.